welcome wonderful people of SpeedGaming to A Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament, round of 32. Today is game 2 between zelgadissan and jmeasher. My name is Lucian Greeth. I'm joined here by Wolflink0370. How are you doing tonight?
Doing all right, folks, and as you can see here, we already have MSUs going on. We have the greatest attorney on Zelga's side, and jmeasher will be playing the messenger if we ever hear his music. And folks, we've got a bit of a beast of settings here. We have inverted key sanity, and as you can see, one of the settings is we start with a flute, and it's already active.
Yeah, inverted keys is best keys. I've had a lot of fun with this during the qualifiers and group rounds.
Right, and a brief overview for the modes before, or in case anyone's watching this for the first time. Inverted is a world state change. We are starting in the dark world and have to work our way to the light world. To accommodate having all checks available, a lot of the mirror checks have had the map edited so that you can check them from the light world without needing the mirror. This does also open a few other quirks. We can backdoor Turtle Rock, but we cannot backdoor Desert if that is required. Key Sanity, on the other hand, and all those dungeon items, small keys, boss keys, maps, compasses, they are completely in the item pool and can be anywhere except where they are required logically. And we have to hunt them down if we need to finish any particular dungeon. And the overall map will not give us our prize information. We have to find the maps in order to do that. Or find Sahasrara and the bomb vendor, who will give us our green pendant and 5-6 information respectively.
Yeah, be ready for some early game shenanigans, because the enemies in the Dark World overworld hit like a freight train. I've never heard this MSU before, so I'm interested in hearing it.
I've heard this music before because I have played The Greatest Eternity. And we start with a glove, good find, and a lot of money as well, and some more bombs. All these are really good finds, and a small key to Ganon's tower.
Not a bad hype cave. A lot easier to work with in inverted mode than regular mode.
Yeah, and that money in particular is a godsend early on. That is one of the main issues with inverted, and why we opened up the flute transport, because items can be pretty stressful, and more often than not, you're often dipping dungeons to go get supplies. A common inverted play you usually see when you're lacking bombs is to go into the back of, or to go down one of the drop downs of Skull Woods and farm a few bombs. That's how desperate the resources can get. And we find the Book of Adora. Like I said, that is hard required for Desert. We cannot backdoor into Desert Palace. We must activate the book doorway.
Looks like jmeasher is giving us a look at the dig game while Zelga puts their money to work in Village of Outcasts.
Alright, and so far it is 10 digs for some more bombs. jmeasher is definitely going to take that this early on. May not be that useful later. So we'll probably see Zelga skip it if Zelga checks it later.
Ooh, Moon Pearl.
And that is very important because with inverted, we need the Moon Pearl to not be a bunny in the light world. Now, I think that is a new sprite that Zelga is using. I think that is actually a character from Great Ace Attorney. I want to say it's Ginny?
Hey, we were talking about who's joining us tonight. We need to give a shout out to our tracker, Awala Koala, because tracking for key sanity is always that's the tracker's time to shine.
Yes, those items are going to be coming in fast and definitely going to have a lot of trouble keeping track of what keys are required. I certainly have called an early go mode because I forgot about keys. So definitely E-Tracker's time to shine here. Could not agree more.
Yeah, because without a tracker, us as commentators, we have to remember things, and I'm not in the mood for that.
I mean, I can remember things. I'm just not very good at keeping the facts straight. As we find a small key to Dark Palace, 1 of 6.
And 1 of 6, although a crafty player can get through with 4 if things go their way.
That is correct. 5 would be in logic with the bow, but it's not convenient if you have to multiple dip that dungeon because you're skipping that front door, which means you'll have to go around the bow lock path every single time, which can be a time sink if repeated dips happen. Hopefully we only see 1 dip of pod, and ideally none if it's a pendant.
Well, you know what they say about pendant pod.
I actually don't, but I'm assuming that's something about value. But anyway.
For whatever reason, pendant pod just always seems to, not always, but it has an odd amount of progression. Alright, so not much to the front of Thieves Town. I'm liking some of this pace routing by Zelga.
Yeah, being very thorough with the overworld here.
Okay, getting a cat. Oh, I don't know why I thought that was catfish. Never mind, disregard me.
Now, something we should probably note is, in addition to the Castle Tower keys which you need to climb the tower, Castle Tower is actually more readily available in Inverted than it is with Key Sanity, or in open mode, because for this mode is one of the major map changes to this. Castle Tower and Aghanim Tower have swapped internally, and as a result, there is no barrier or blocking access to Aghanim 1. We still need a sword to cut the curtain, and we still need a lamp to get through the darkness. But other than that, and the keys we need because this is Key Sanity, Aghanim can be required for accessing the light world.
On top of that Death Mountain being available right off the bat, everyone's favorite, the Lionels are Sphere 1 with this setup.
Yeah, Lionels, of course, being one of the most dangerous enemies of the game. Their contact damage, which will one-shot you at 3 hearts, but thankfully their fireballs only do 2 hearts on green mail. And that's ideally how you manipulate them in order to get past them. And jmeasher is using that 1 pod small to do a early dip of pod. This is a fine enough play, I think. This is sort of like doing Eastern Palace early.
Yeah, you get a small handful of checks, I think like 3 or 4 doing this, so definitely some value to that.
Yeah, of course, now he will have to find one more key at least for the logic purposes. The big chest and the boss are locked behind 6 keys, and that's just basically because of key logic, and the best way I can describe it is, the logic basically assumes you've used your keys in the absolute worst way possible. Like, the last key you use is on the door that's actually required for progression. A prime example is actually over in Desert Palace, where you can take the small key from the back and use it to open the 2 chests on the right side of the dungeon. But that also means that you can't reach the boss anymore. So as a result, by the key logic, the Lamb Molder's boss in Desert Palace is locked behind both the big key and the small key of Desert Palace.
Which, for the record, is not a strategy we endorse.
No, it's just an example, really, because it's one of the easiest key logic to understand. Trust me, there's a lot more complicated ones. I just chose one that was easy.
Let's just let's put this whole game on the back burner. Let's just explain pod key logic real quick.
No. Moving on, as we see, Zelga has found Titan's Bits and is going to the Light World. First check is the well. There's a lot of checks now that we have open to the Light World. A 9-minute Light World, no less, in Inverted, is actually kind of insane.
I'm for it.
There's one of our compasses. Compasses don't do too much, unfortunately. They just give us an item count for the dungeon, as we get the big key to Ice Palace, the lamp, and 10 rubies. Now, interesting note, that lamp means that Ganon was not actually possible, I believe.
That sounds right.
So, there was no way this was an Aga required seed, but then again, we still need to find the keys regardless. And Agon's Tower still has 2 items in Key Sanity, so might still be worth going in there at some point later on. Finding some armor there.
Alright, got our first TR key.
And a Skullwood's Key. Not really necessary, that Skullwood's Key, but it does make routing a little bit better, and that sword is very useful to find. There is our combat options available for Zelga. jmeasher continuing to explore these early game dungeons here.
I do like this MSU a lot.
Oh yeah, I've heard all the music here because I play. Like I said, I played the game. It's actually some good music.
You said it was the Great Ace Attorney?
Yes, this is the Great Ace Attorney, and jmeasher is using the Messenger. Hopefully, we'll get a bit of that later because I like that music a lot more, to be honest.
Yes, right. I haven't played that game because I've been a huge Ace Attorney fan since high school, back in the 2000s.
Nice. Alright, Quake Medallion! And there's the Titan's Bits for jmeasher, so now has Light World access as well.
So do you think we're gonna have any? Because I know the potential for shenanigans is higher in Key Sanity. Do you think we're seeing anything crazy today?
I'm not sure, but we're about to see one of the map changes I was talking about at the start of the seed. As you can see, Graveyard Ledge, we can just walk right up and enter, no problem. No mirror required. Now, jmeasher, unlike Zelga, is taking the frog to the smiths. This is in logic.
Answer a question from chat, Neustria, where were myths? The front to Skull Woods, in the pinball room. Oh, and a very healthy back of escape.
Yeah, definitely nice to see a little bit of help this early on. That should be good enough for the rest of the seed, actually, but we might find out a little bit more as we go along.
Yeah, you got these 2 players have made it to the round of 32 in the main tournaments. These are absolute top tier players.
That's it. Correct. Now, we should probably mention what maps do in Key Sanity mode. I don't think we've mentioned that yet. Basically, that is how we are going to be getting our information about our dungeon prizes when we check the overall map, is to have the map on hand. If we find the map in the dungeon, we'll also get a little C or a P to the left of our Magimeter to indicate that dungeon as well. That's a very nice change, actually.
Alright, Zelga's giving us our first Death Mountain look.
And this is, again, one of the other map changes here. This cave is normally found in the light world, but for the sake of inverted, we've allowed the northern dark world and the dark death mountain to be connected via the old man cave. We still have to return to his home in the light world, though.
It really begs the question how I got lost here in the first place in this mode.
Well, there is an open portal right at the top of Death Mountain. Just some shenanigans there, I guess? It's amazing he's keeping his form without a moon pearl, though. Maybe he has one.
Maybe there's more to the old man that we don't know about.
So many mysteries in this randomizer. We'll never know. Meanwhile, jmeasher, still with the Smith, is continuing their clear of Kakariko Village. It looks like they might be heading over to the Smith now, though. They're almost done here.
What is with the moon? What reflects your like true inner self? I think maybe the old man's inner self is just an old man.
When you receive the old man rescue, and don't mind the fact that he just went through the wall.
That's one of his powers. That's how he got to the Dark World.
Oh, but the Smiths are keysmiths, and they have a key to Turtle Rock. 2 of 4 there for jmeasher.
It could be big if something is on the lava chest in Turtle Rock, because if you don't plan on getting that chest, you can get by in Turtle Rock with just 3 keys. But if there's if you need that 4th key for lava chests, that Smith check can be very important.
I want to say that 2 will be enough, actually, with the mirror, as we can potentially backdoor in Turtle Rock.
Right, I forgot inverted keys, all the Turtle Rock hijinks.
I think it's still logically 4 small keys are going to be required throughout the entire dungeon, but with some of them, we can just ignore that requirement. And there's a map for GS Tower. Unfortunately, that's one of the 2 maps that does not give us information. So Joe getting baited by that just a little bit. The other map, of course, being the Hyrule Castle map, which I don't think we've seen yet.
I don't believe so, no.
And it looks like we are going to see from Zelga the first chest of Aghanim's Tower.
And those ball and chain guards are just getting bullied.
Yeah, it takes a while to beat them down, but once you do, it's true to say, like, as we get another key from jmeasher, another key to Dark Palace.
Yeah, Pod Small's never hurt anyone.
And we'll let jmeasher go a little bit deeper. And here we go with the Lionels. And I think Zelga's enough HP to tank this? Yeah, so just gonna move on. We get 300 rupees, a small key to Turtle Rock, that's a 3rd. 10 arrows. A big key to Misery Mire, and the Fire Rod from Mini Moldorm Cave. A good haul there.
Very nice.
Meanwhile, in Super Running Cave, Zelga finds a heart container and the compass to Tower Hera.
Then we'll probably be seeing a Paradox Cave from Zelga after this.
Extra cave coming up from jmeasher. Does have to be a bit careful. These traps are going to do 2 whole hearts of damage. Well, actually, no, 1 heart. I couldn't quite tell that Tove was in the blue mail there until I looked at the tracker.
Alright, there's that TR map. Ooh, Thieves big. And a hook shot.
Immediately putting that to use. Another 300 rupees. And the ice rod!
We got both rods between both players.
And, oh, apparently we completely overlooked the fact that we had this, Mr. Meyer medallion on screen. I just now looked at the tracker. There's a map there for Swamp Palace on jmeasher's side. Nice return fake flipper there. Not getting spotted by the arrow guard.
Zelga says no thanks to that hard container. Meanwhile, jmeasher's fake flipping over to Zora's domain. Gonna knock out most of those checks.
And we're gonna get our first look at Desert here on Zelga's side. And again, one of the changes there, gonna be able to check Checkerboard Cave. And it is a small key, and we get a map from Zora. And it is the Dark Palace.
Oh, and the small desert.
There's only one of those, so good to find that. And we can now safely check the 2 chests on the right side of the dungeon. There's our map check, and that's a huge amount of information. Green Pendant Mire, or Thieves Town Pendant, 5-6 at Dark Palace, Swamp and Ice, both crystals.
Yeah, that's a good chunk of knowledge. And there's our 4th TR key. Although we will also need that big key at some point.
We will, yes, but with the 4 small keys, that does mean that every other chest in the dungeon is in logic, no matter which way we have to get into Turtle Rock. Now, being able to enter Turtle Rock, though, is another story. We still need that... Oh, wait a minute!
What was that, the big key of what?
Aeropins. I believe that is the TR Big.
Well, we're gonna need a Master Sword at some point.
Yep, and we also need the hammer and the Key of Samari at the very least.
Looks like jmeasher's gonna put that fire rod to use and take on the big bad moth.
This is an unknown prize. But if it happens to be our 3rd pendant, that means we know that every other dungeon that we are currently unknown about is a crystal, with one of them being the 5-6 crystal. And onwards to the mall, jmeasher goes. No big key required for Skull Woods or Swamp Palace. Those are only for the items in their respective big chests. We do have a question here in chat about the 5-6 crystal, and to put it simply, the 5-6 crystals are a event flag check, which allows us to buy the super bomb, which in turn allows us to access 2 items at the pyramid. In the randomizer, we also color them red to make them easily distinguishable on the overworld map.
Alright, 5 hearts, blue mail. Let's see how this goes with jmeasher. Doing well so far.
But to turn them off is not easy, especially on 5 hearts. Has to be careful now.
He's got one more hit with that blue mail, I believe, except for the spike. Oh, there he goes! Very nicely done.
Yes, he had one more hit regardless, and there it goes. Only a blue rupee there, but it is a crystal. So jmeasher takes first blood here in the matchup, being one step closer to Ganon. Now, is it one of our 5-6 crystals?
Excellent.
It is!
Well, good play by jmeasher. That could give him a good advantage for a while.
So 5-6 are Pod and Skull Woods. Light World Dungeons and Turtle Rock potentially Last Pendant. Don't know which one. All other dungeons are Crystal.
Alright, so both players just retracing each other's steps at the moment.
Yes, and it seems zelgadissan will be heading over to Zoro as jmeasher is entering and getting their Quake.
Did Zelga give us a look at Lumberjack?
I don't know. We're about to find out, though.
Looks like a red rupee.
Yeah, it's only 200 anywhere fees. And more information! Turtle Rock is a crystal! Which means our Light World dungeon is a pendant. We don't know which one.
Looks like Zelga's not far behind on that module play.
Yes, and unfortunately, jmeasher get hit by the landmine there.
Meanwhile, jmeasher's about to get an influx of health.
Much needed, too. Being on blue mail is only going to help so much. Only 20 rupees to the sanctuary.
Alright, so where is jmeasher gonna go from here? Nice conservation of magic by Zelga there, using the lantern for most of that room.
And we're gonna see Desert from jmeasher. This is our first look at it.
Unfortunately, jmeasher's will be missing that small key, which is hidden less than 30 seconds away.
Yeah. They'll probably find it and go back in.
Very nice from Zelga.
And Zelga on the board. Only 3 bombs on the torch.
I think jmeasher is getting ready to steal the key, which... No, yeah, it looks like he is.
This is fine enough play, because they'll probably finish up by checking Agina in the area. And won't get punished too bad for this play. Taking a death there. Will this put him at the front of the dungeon?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, save scumming the key! That's actually a smart idea. I just noticed that in chat.
Oh.
That's actually a brilliant play from jmeasher. So
See,
he is going to key steal, but if he finds nothing, he can just leave it. You can just reset and leave it behind.
See, this is why they're in the round 32 and I'm not.
Yeah, this is a nice heads-up play from jmeasher. I wouldn't have thought of this myself. Zelga, well, is turning into Smiths now. And we find the shovel. And 3 bombs. He's gonna at least keep the shovel. He'll probably check Agina on his way out to confirm the shovel. And then realize, oh, okay, I can just safely keep this key.
He doesn't actually don't see very often.
Yeah, he's gonna wrap up the desert area here. Will not be punished for this key steal.
I'm sure he's gonna breathe a sigh of relief when he sees this desert small here.
Yep, there it is. I thought it was actually Agina. I must have mistaken myself there. But it was in the same area, so... Zelga Scout in the race game. I believe jmeasher already checked this. Nearest cave south of Grove, and it is a small key. To Dark Palace. Yeah. And here's jmeasher now getting information that this is the Turtle Rock big key, and it is Terrapins.
I went and checked. I thought Terrapins was the name of the turtle enemies, but no, it's actual turtle.
And the shovel led to the flippers.
Very nice. So that puts. Well, see, there wasn't anything on the flipper checks were there, so.
I think there was a small key. Regardless, they're now in logic. And I believe both runners have at least checked Waterfall Cave via fake flippers.
Well, I guess we'll need those for Swamp Palace eventually, so.
That is correct. Swamp Palace is a pendant.
Both players roughly on top of each other at the moment.
There's the mushroom from Hyrule Castle. Everything else back here is out of logic, though. We need the Hyrule Castle small key for that to be available.
I've always viewed logic as more of a suggestion than a hard set of rules.
That is true, but because of the fact you can take a key guard and open the Dark Cross door, this logic has to be there for safety. There's our Master Sword, though, which means we now have access to Turtle Rock's big key.
It's like Zelga setting up for a death warp here.
Makes sense to me. No mirror. And in the chest we have a compass to Ice Palace.
Yes, No Cane puts, everything but the, compass chest and the, I don't know what they're called, but the, chest by the crystal roller.
Only the first floor chests are not in logic, I think. Is a better way to say it, I think. But there's the key to Samaria, so it doesn't matter. Third Rock is now logically full clearable by what we know. No, it's not. I almost spoke too soon. We don't know the medallion requirement to enter the front door, and right now we cannot backdoor. We lack the mirror.
Oh yeah. I believe, answering question chat, Hookshot was in Paradox Cave. I forget where the Ice Rod was.
I believe Ice Rod was Paradox.
Okay, so both of them Paradox. That sounds right. Here's a route to Eastern you don't see very often. I guess you don't see very often because he's not going to Eastern.
We do have a question in chat about what music is this. We are now listening to jmeasher's side, and he is playing the Messenger MSU. Zelgo, who we were listening to earlier, is playing the Great Ace Attorney MSU. We've been on this for a good while now, actually.
Yeah, the witch is cheaping out on us for delivering ingredients for her.
I mean, they're kept in the castle, so it's probably not that well preserved.
Yeah, I can't imagine the dungeons are known for their hygiene.
And this looks to be checking Sahasrara, as well as checking Eastern Palace, as we finally get the TR Big Key over on Zelga's screen. We've already scouted this. jmeasher has not been to Hookshot, has not been to Paradox yet, so does not have knowledge that TR is available yet. So not putting too much weight on that TR Big Key.
I don't think jmeasher's been to the mountain at all yet.
No, I don't think so either. And here we go with our first look at Eastern Palace. I don't think we have found any Light World maps yet, so this will be sort of blind. Now, of course, we're listening to MSUs here, but in the theoretical that we were listening to normal vanilla music, you can't rely on that in Key Sanity. They actually shuffle the music on you, so you don't know if it's a pendant or crystal based on that. So, we won't know, and we extra won't know because of the MSU. But we do know there's 6 items available. 5 of which are in logic, 1 of which is bow locked, and behind the boss as a result. That's our first bottle, though. Meanwhile, Hookshot Cave is checked. Nothing of importance there, it looks like. And to enter Turtle Rock, we need Ether. One size fits all for our medallion dungeons. Now the question is, where is that Ether medallion?
Yeah, that's gonna be the $1 million question of the seed.
Shield for jmeasher. Not the worst thing to find. There's definitely some arguments about it causing lag, but hey, that thing saved me from death by fake flippers before. I will respect its appearance.
Yeah, people, a surprisingly opinionated group of people, people who hate shields.
Nothing so far here in Eastern Palace, but we're getting a Purple Chest Tournament. We have not seen this yet, and it is a map to Skull Woods. Unfortunately, we already know that dungeon price at this point.
I'll tell you what was the worst. I killed Mothula in Skullwoods on a guess. It dropped a map to Skullwoods, which told me a pendant was coming in like 3 seconds.
That is unfortunate. That is really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's one less stabbed from beyond the grave.
And there's the flippers for zelgadissan right there at the shovel spot. Shovel being, of course, in desert.
Oh, there's a map to Eastern.
And we can see that little C right there. It is a crystal. So it means Desert or Hera is our last pendant. We don't know which one.
And I want to point out, like, immediately upon picking up the flippers, Zelga just immediately realize is to just do a quick walk to the whirlpool to turn in that mushroom. And that's kind of the mindset of these top tier players. Just pick up an item and immediately shake up your routing on the spot.
Second bottle for jmeasher, our first item here in Ice Palace. And a small key on Lake Hylia Island. What is this here now? It is a small key to Mire. Unfortunately, those small keys aren't really necessary outside of some weird key logic that I barely understand. Something about the left side of the dungeon being completely locked by all 3 keys.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, that's about as much as I know. There's probably some more complexity to it, which is why I didn't use it in my example earlier when I explained key logic.
jmeasher's going for the IPBJ route?
This is smart, actually. There's no real point in doing...
Oh yeah, no hammer. So yeah, I guess this does make sense.
Yeah, there's no hammer, so going this way just means that you can clear a little bit faster, ignoring right side. Yeah, no right side and no key, so yeah, this makes perfect sense to go this way. They're going straight to the bottom of the dungeon. Meanwhile, we're going to be seeing a catfish play over on Zelga's side.
Ooh, a tempered sword.
Very nice fight for Zelga. That will help with combat a lot. Map to Hera. That's actually huge. I think with that map, jmeasher will have all the pendant and crystal information. And another Dark Palace key as well.
What are we up to? 4 or 5?
I think that was jmeasher's third, but total, I think that's our 4th. Because I don't think Zelga's been in here yet.
No, Zelga's not been in Ice Palace.
Okay, so the so they have 2 shared keys, and the 4th one is different different key from different locations. Zelga has the K45 one. jmeasher has the one here in Ice Palace, and there's the mirror in the deepest reaches of Ice Palace. That is a huge find.
Yeah, so that gives us full access to Turtle Rock.
And that might incentivize, with the Master Sword, for jmeasher to go and full clear the dungeon. He doesn't know it yet because we know where the Ice Rod and Hookshot is, but he'll definitely check Paradox Cave on the way. There's no questioning that. Zelga is doing a little bit more work in pod, so far nothing there. Bulky the Skullwoods, meanwhile. And as a reminder, folks, both runners have checked the Bulbous tablet without the mirror because of the map changes to inverted. We don't need the mirror for any of the normally mirror lock checks. As we find a small... I think that was a small key against our on jmeasher's side? Yeah.
Yes, it was. Meanwhile, Zelga showing off an important piece of key sanity technique.
Yeah, and in general, this is helpful to know, is the hammer yump, as I believe is called.
Yes.
It is double pixel perfect, but you can easily find a setup that works. I myself am still relatively inexperienced, but I've done it a few times. And Zelga taking a death warp after finding the gold sword. There's our map check. Hera is, in fact, the last crystal. Desert is blue pendant.
Well, Zelga is just going to be cleaving through bosses when they get to him now. But the reason that hammer jump technique is so important is because Zelga now gets to check those 3 chests, assuming they had the big key, without spending an additional small key.
Tracker is informing, of course, that jmeasher does not know which one is the pendant just yet, as jmeasher has not found the map to Turtle Rock. We, of course, up here in the booth know where all our pendants and crystals are at this point.
So he's not going to be showing us a mimic clip.
jmeasher going through Kakariko here in the meantime. Turning in the bottle for 5 rubies. Now, what Zelga's doing here, just explain this briefly, is they are pause buffering and moving the mimic just 1 pixel at a time into the wall until this happens. And once it goes off screen, the door opens because it considers the enemy dead.
Yeah, Link to the Past programming exists on the logic of, well, I don't see the enemies, so they must be dead. And not for very much, unfortunately. Alright, I wonder how far Zelga is from Ice Palace.
I mean, Zelga's looking to avoid Ice Palace for the time being, and I don't blame them. Going to Ice Palace with a hammer feels kind of bad. jmeasher took a risk, and it definitely paid off.
Definitely, yeah. Going to hammerless Ice Palace, like, it's burned me a couple times. I'm scared to go. Same, not as much, but same thing with Thieves Town.
We will be seeing the Swamp Palace play here in jmeasher. Ken, not full clear actually. We are missing the Swamp Small Key, I believe. So we'll only be able to check this 1 chest here in the dungeon. But it is a relatively fast check. But this is the Ice Palace play from Zelga.
Like that base on jmeasher's side.
jmeasher's first trip up the mountain will eventually be rewarded with the hookshot and the ice rod, as we know. Those are in Paradise Gate, as well as the information of what Turtle Rock's prize and medallion is. But does not need to worry about that with the mirror in tow. jmeasher walking the old man there, just making sure to get that save work point up here on the mountain active. Interesting! Zelga did not do IPVJ. Opted to just grab the key and nope out.
Interesting.
I'm wondering what's going through Zelka's mind right now. Do they think of something that would be more important to check?
We'll see where Zelga's going. Bottle turn in?
Ah, yes. They probably just dipped out immediately after getting the bottle. That makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, it's not going to pay out. And Zelga will be heading back in. I think... Oh, I'm trying to think. Is this actually a last location for Zelga? No, Zelga still has Eastern.
Yes, that's correct.
But Zelga will definitely icebreak from this point. With that key in tow.
Alright, meanwhile, jmeasher is making their way over to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and as we understand the logic at this point, Hammer can be in Turtle Rock. Because of where all of our small keys have ended. Because of where our mirror ended up. I believe you can get down there. Actually, can you get down to Ice Tea Room without the hookshot and without a small key? I'm trying to remember.
Ice Palace key logic is not something I am familiar with, unfortunately.
Well, jmeasher did go down there, so I guess it is in logic. I just didn't know how exactly they made it through there. I wasn't sure if any, like, door shenanigans were involved with the right side. But I guess if you got down there, then it's in logic. jmeasher now with the information that it is ether to enter Turtle Rock's front door. And we'll be exploring the Paradox Cave, which will reward him. And there is the Force Pod small key now. Zelga now has one up over jmeasher, who has not checked K45 yet. And there's the map to Turtle Rock, and once jmeasher flips around here, we'll have the Ice Rod and the Hookshot, both.
Meanwhile, looks like Zelga likely has something similar in mind, heading to Turtle Rock.
Yep, got the mirror here. And we have the big hit of Thieves Town there as well. I completely missed that. But Thieves Town is a pendant. But if we need to go to the back, we at least have that. And there we go. Hookshot and Ice Rod for jmeasher. We'll be entering Turtle Rock here shortly. And I think Zelga is having the same thought. So both runners are going to converge on TR at this point. I have a very strong feeling our Hammer's in here. What about you, Lucian?
There's not a whole lot left, so unless we find something like the Swamp's Ball, I'd say odds are pretty good.
jmeasher gonna check Hookshot Cave here first. Makes sense. If you have anything else you want to grab before you finish the dungeon.
Alright, looks like Zelga's heading in from the Mimic Room, so...
And there it is. There's the information for jmeasher. He knows he has to clear Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's the big key for Tower of Hera in the big chests.
Now, I like what Zelga's doing here. Zelga is starting from the center and then going upwards, and then we'll mirror and then go downwards. Whereas jmeasher's just going straight to the boss here, it looks like. And there's the Smoking to Hyrule Castle, which does put one of our swords in logic, I think, if I recall correctly. And the big key to Ganon's tower has shown up. No guessing game today, folks.
Alright, if you guess check 126, you are correct.
Was it 126? I doubt it.
I threw out a number.
Moving on, though.
I will rewind this VOD and I will confirm that. That is how much I care. That is the work I'm willing to put in.
Oh, Zelga's heading down low. There's her second shield sighting.
jmeasher checked, to answer Homemade Beer in chat, jmeasher checked Swamp, the first chest.
Yeah, this looks to be a completely backwards GT versus a half... Or a completely backwards Turtle Rock versus a half and half Turtle Rock from Zelga. Which is smart. I think Zelga will be able to re-enter Turtle Rock's front door after finishing the dungeon, so can check those chests that way.
Meanwhile, Zelga's just showing off those laser skips. Let's see what's on that lava chest. 10 arrows, nothing big.
Yeah, nothing big. I think Zelga already checked that.
Oh, did he? Okay, that's my bad.
Yeah, I think Zelga checked it and then doubled back. Whereas jmeasher is going to go from the bottom to the top here. And here we go with the Trinex fight. This is going to be a really quick one. Each hit only requires 3 slashes.
Yeah, this is where Zelga's going to have a big advantage for a good chunk of the seed compared to jmeasher. Having that golden sword versus master sword. You called it.
There's the hammer, but jmeasher just got killed and will be returning back to the bottom of the dungeon. This isn't advantageous, though, because jmeasher can just finish the boss off now. And there's Zelga's kill on Trinex. Trinex having the singular arrow and our next crystal of the match. And if I'm right, Zelga should be able to go right back in to TR from the front. I think the head will let him do that. Yes, so good heads up play about how the map works on Zelga's part.
Yeah, Zelga's making some very good heads up plays. Just immediately, just on a snap, just changing their route.
So Zelga will be getting the hammer as the last chest here, but has a huge advantage. And there's just a huge combat advantage right now in general between Zelga and jmeasher. Zelga having all 4 swords, whereas jmeasher is still only on Master Sword. The other 2 swords were in, I believe it was the Dark Maze of Pod, as well as Catfish. Or was it the...
You're right.
Or was it the Terrapin room in Dark Palace? Either way, it's in the back of Dark Palace, for sure.
It was in the Dark Maze. I believe the top left chest in the Dark Maze. Zelga picked up the Big Key Eastern Palace, so once we get that bow... Oh, okay. I was worried there for a second.
And this will be Zelga's hammer, whereas jmeasher needs to clean up here. They were in the dungeon roughly the same time, I think. And it looks like they're going to be leaving at roughly the same time, too.
Do we skip the compass chest?
No, I think both runners checked that.
Okay. By the way, I learned recently, it never occurred to me that arrangement of hammer pegs is Metroid.
Yeah, there's a few little Easter eggs with the map edits. For example, over at the cave stop of the Haunted Grove, there was a V and a T etched into the grass there for VTorb, one of the admin/devs of the randomizer. And there's our 5th pod small key. I believe I think Zelga did not open the door to the Dark Maze, so that will be all the keys that Zelga will need.
Correct. Once we get that pod big and the bow, we're going to be all good to go. Pardon the rhyme.
Now, actually, did Zelga check this? I don't think Zelga did.
No, he did not. So we'll see if this is a big...
oh, it's big.
Small. That's big. Maybe he'll head back after Hera. Maybe that's part of the route.
Hopefully. There's the bow, though!
And we're both rhyming with that bow.
Wait a minute. Yeah, there's the Bikini Tower Hera. Are we in... I think we're still missing keys. We're still missing keys. But I think item-wise, strictly item-wise, I think we're in go mode.
Myers a pendant, so yeah, I believe so.
Well, actually, no, we're in no mode, but details. We still need to find some big keys, though. I believe we are missing the pod big key. Actually, that's it! We're only missing the pod big key. That's the last thing we're missing for true no mode.
I'm really hoping Zelda doubles back to Mimic Cave after Hera, which is not an uncommon route, so I'm not too worried yet, but I'm hoping he does.
And here comes Moldorm, and there goes Moldorm. Quick and easy fight there for Zelga with that gold sword.
Answer your question, chat. We don't need the boots, because we know there are bombs on the Desert Torch, and once we're in Ganon's Tower, we're in the endgame anyway. We don't have to worry about the big key hunt.
That is correct. We have the big key on the laser bridge, so don't have to worry about them there. Although, I will say, the boots would be nice to have, just to get moving.
Oh, it is storming all of a sudden here. Yeah, Zelga's going back for that, Swamp Small. So right now, I think Zelga's a little bit ahead, but think about the boss execution is going to be so much smoother for Zelga for the rest of the seed.
Yeah, now, someone would actually bring in a good point here. Balgars and Kingstu could both be a potential spot for the pod big to show up. And in that case, the boots would be required. But we are also keeping in mind that the pod big key can also literally be anywhere except for on Helmosaur King or in its own chest. So, there are a lot of places where that big key can be. The only other place it can't be is GT because it is a crystal dungeon. But it could be on Blind for all we know. And we do have access to Blind. Oh, a Moldorm Fall. Not a good thing to see, but can recover pretty quickly. And does have the hearts there just in case of an extreme emergency.
I think it's pretty rare you see anyone die to Moldorm, but boy, it can be a pain.
Yeah, needs 3 spins. Yeah, Moldorm is more of an annoying fight than it is an actually hard one. And there we go, Zelga's now going to be finishing up Ice Palace here.
No, Pet is not dead. We can still have the pod big key on Pet. Yeah, if you're into that sort of thing.
Now, we can check Pet. We do have the book, but neither runner is in a position to bother checking that. We know it's not on Lumberjack Ledge, so Agon is not an option. Although, if a Castle Tower small key shows up, the second chest of Castle Tower is in Logic and is an option.
And that's not too bad of a check.
No, not at all, especially with there being no barrier for our runners. Alright, jmeasher, where are you going next? As we see the ice... Ooh, okay. Zelga's gonna have to recover here a bit, but should be a fine fight regardless.
And that's part of the gold sword.
And 50 rubies on Cold Stare.
And like most players, especially in this level of play, most players don't really care about the gold sword, but when something when it shows up, it can make all the difference, especially if it's early.
Yeah, most people care about having the Tempered Sword because that is a big power difference between Mastered and Tempered Sword, because most enemies at that point, you don't require spin attacks, you can just slash them. Gold Sword doesn't really give you that much of a power boost. Just makes your spins on Tempered Sword be just slashes. There's no extra power boost from spinning with the Gold Sword.
It's like Zelga's gonna be doing Swamp Palace. Then I guess from here, the next stop would be, Zelga hasn't done Eastern Palace, so I would imagine that would be Zelga's next stop after Swamp.
Probably, yeah.
Assuming Pod Big's not here, then you just knock out Pod and Eastern all in one shot. Alright, so far this has been a pretty cut and dry Keysanity seed.
Yeah, good few twists and turns, but pretty average one otherwise.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Chaos and such, this is it's been pretty straightforward.
Now, of course, if you want to see Zelga move on here, you do want to to see Zelga maintain this small lead that he has right now. Zelga is fighting for their tournament life right now. Needs a win here to jmeasher to tie up this best of 3. Otherwise, they will be eliminated from the tournament.
Ooh, close call, but jmeasher pulls off the cold air kill.
Very nicely done.
Meridine in chat says who's ahead. Zelga, I would say, is ahead by a small margin.
Yes, and Zelga has more progress in pod as well. We're just looking for that pod to show up. And there's the small key to Thieves Town, which does mean the back is completely full clearable.
Oh, I appreciate that in the chat, Argon. I appreciate that. Like, if you the longer it takes for that pod big to show up is going to be better for Zelga, because having that gold sword for bosses is going to make a world difference.
Will not disagree there. And jmeasher does not really have any incentive to finish pod now, which one of the swords is in there.
The other one is on Catfish, which is not a terrible attack to make in inverted, especially with that flute.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think Catfish is completely isolated otherwise. There's no real reason to go up there except for that one check. And I don't think Zelga's gonna get the 0 cycle quite.
Not quite, so close.
No. A good effort though, and very clean in 1 cycle for Argus. Now, another place we haven't mentioned where the boss key cannot be for pod is on the Pyramid Ferry, because pod is one of the 5-6. So, that is not an option whatsoever.
Yeah, so we know now, jmeasher doesn't know, but we know pod big is not in pod. Because Zelga's full clear that besides the big chest and Helma. Okay, yep, looks like I called it.
We're going to be an Eastern Palace play here from Zelga.
Oh, but if pod big is over on left side, so Zelga didn't do left side swamp. We'll see if jmeasher does.
I have unfortunately seen left side swamp decide a race. Let's hope that Zelga did not leave that big key behind.
I mean, that's never happened. This left side swamp deciding a race. It's craziness, I say.
It may sound crazy, but then again, I was on a race that did that, so. Alright, diver down coming from jmeasher.
I think jmeasher was setting up for the bomb diver down without realizing, like, oh, wait, I got cane.
Alright. You know Zelga's wasting a little bit of time here on the front part of Eastern Palace. And actually, Zelga doesn't realize this is a crystal yet, I don't think.
No, I don't believe so. We don't see the icon up in the corner, so it looks like Zelga doesn't have the map for this.
Right, the map was in the another big key chest here in Eastern Palace.
Yeah, that's right.
Nearly forgot about that.
you're seeing the difference between the gold sword and the master sword here. You know, Zelga almost got the 1 cycle. Meanwhile, jmeasher is doing this in 2+.
Yeah, sort of a vanilla fight. So it's not that big a deal. Phase 2 gets a 1 cycle though.
That's very nicely done on the 2 cycle on the second phase. Oh, Mesher's going back in for the left side swamp. This could be big.
This could be the make or break moment for the seed here.
Yeah, 'cause if it's not here, that is a huge advantage to Zelga. If it is here, that momentum just swings so far to jmeasher's side.
Yeah, it'll be a complete 180 in terms of who's going to win this race, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, this is the make or break moment of the entire game. Because we can probably safely guess it's going to be a long time before Zelga makes his way back over to Swamp.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go so far as to say that Zelga will last location, left side swamp.
Just about, if not last location.
Now, if it's neither of the locations, where could it still possibly be? It could be.
Go ahead.
It could just be in a place where jmeasher will check next, and Zelga will check that later. But that's just speculation at that point. We can't say for sure.
I imagine we go Pendant Dungeon diving after this. Go Mystery Mire and Desert.
There's a heart piece here at Armosites. And I'd say if you were Zelga at this point, you do Thieves Town.
I have Thieves Town.
Because you can do the back of Thieves Town pretty cleanly, and more importantly, you know that there's still 4 items there. Of the Pendant Dungeon, that is the most dense right now.
I think Mire has 6 or 7 checks in the front.
Yeah, but we don't have Ether, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, I guess you do need that. I guess if you're going to open up a locked door, you should bring the key.
Zelga's going to come back into pod here to check to see if one of the remaining checks is not it. Meanwhile, left side swamp, 20 rupees. Is it here in the big key chest of swamp? No, it's the compass to Thieves Town.
There's that second castle tower key.
That could be required. Wait, no, I don't think... Ooh. I'm forgetting the key logic again. Is that key locked behind having all 6?
No, Helma would be behind all 6, I believe.
Any confirmation chat that is in fact locked by all 6, so... That castle tower key cannot be where the boss key is. Unless we find the other pod small.
Meanwhile, Zelga's doing the hammer pegs.
I believe we've seen this. But it is our... No, we have not. That's our boots. Alright, we got a couple more checks.
Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb.
Yes, both of those are opened up. And Zelga, I don't think, has been in Desert yet, so this will warrant Zelga doing a full clear of the front, I believe.
I think it was bombs, but we're getting back to Thieves Town, like you suggested.
Yeah, Zelga has the small key and the big key, can full clear this, no problem. And doesn't have to fight the boss. Well, actually, no, there's an item in the boss, so probably has to fight the boss. But the moment the big key shows up, Zelga knows they are in go mode. We'll just hit the mirror and leave.
Yeah, for anyone tuning in, we have a Palace of Darkness big key hunt going right now. Whoever finds the big key to pod is gonna have a good momentum shift.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if this is a Thieves Town into boots checks.
And Zelga hits the God Pixel.
Yep, and the enemy's energy favored them too. I think I've hit God Pixel but had the enemies screw me over.
Oh, that's always the worst. Knowing you were this close.
Alright, our first check of the back of Skull Woods here. Or, I said Skull Woods, I meant Thieves Town.
That's close by.
Small key to Dark Palace! That was in logic with the big key, which we've had for a while now. So that does mean the Castle Tower small key is now in logic. Which means the big key can very likely be locked behind that one Castle Tower small. But it's only a singular check. Zelga's going to be playing for item density here for the moment.
And maybe we'll get so lucky to have the big key on pedestal.
Main chest. Only a heart piece. And I believe Chad has also corrected me that it is still locked behind that small, and I guess that is correct now that I think about it more. Key logic. It gets confusing sometimes. Even I get messed up by it. There's another small key, though. It's the other Castle Tower small!
This is, these sound more like Aga Town.
Well, we know what's on the Lumberjack. But now we have both Castle Tower small keys. That makes me extra suspicious of what's inside that second chest.
Yeah, which means that, well, I don't remember when we got the, Thieves Town Small. I can't remember.
That was in, Swamp, I believe. So we got it relatively recently. jmeasher will be continuing their foray into Dark Palace in the meantime. We'll at least find their Tempered Sword, which will be a nice thing to find, but at this point, might not be too helpful at this stage. And there is the pendant in for Zelga, but the item was not what they were looking for. The big key to pod is elsewhere.
I would check Meyer next, because Meyer's still pretty dense. I think about 6 or 7 checks.
Yes, we would. That is about right. You're missing the problem, though, again, with the Ether Medallion, but minor detail.
You know, I think we're splitting hairs. Like, you know,
I don't blame you. If I have the item density option, I would absolutely take it, but we don't have that right now.
I feel like we're arguing semantics. I'm like, oh, we should check Meyer. And like, you can't. We don't have the key. I'm like, well, you know, that seems like a minor detail.
Very minor detail, but important all the same. Bog Rocks and Kingston, on the other hand, they could have Ether, actually. Happens the Swamp. That probably will remind Zelga that Left Side Swamp is available, but it's gonna be a time sink for them and they just don't know it.
Where are you? Have we done... No, we have the hair small.
And King's Tomb has a big key!
Oh! What are these?
Right, we still have the optional big keys in the pool. That might incentivize Zelga to check the pedestal, though. As their way to checking that dungeon.
I feel like that's where Zelga's heading. Okay, so jmeasher didn't... Oh, wait. I thought this one he was heading up to Catfish. I don't know why I kept thinking that on that screen.
Have either one been a pyramid led, actually? I don't think they have. No, wait, Zelga did. It was only a single rupee. I've forgotten. This is Zelga checking Lumberjack, so knows that Aghanim is not the... Going all the way up to Aghanim is not the right play. Kind of smart on Zelga's idea as well. Another heads-up play. Waiting until Aghanim was fully available in the logic before checking the Lumberjack. Saved a bit of time there overall. And here comes the last item in Skull Woods. Is this another big key? Yes, it is!
It is it!
There it is! Dark Pal's big key! Locked behind the boots. Ladies and gentlemen, that is in fact go mode.
Alright, just gonna go ahead and bang out Helmet King real quick.
Yep, it's a straight shot there. No doors can stop Zelga. And no doors can stop Zelga on their ascent up GT either with the 2 small keys and a big key. Doesn't even need to fight the Helvosaurs at the very top floors. And this is what Zelga needed as well. So Zelga will be staying alive to fight one more game against jmeasher here in the round of 32.
Yeah, for a chance to move on to the Sweet 16.
I don't know when their game 3 is, but I can tell you that what their game is will be a complete mystery, as is the norm of this tournament. Our runners only know what format they're playing 5 minutes prior to go.
And while we're on that subject, while we're kind of just wrapping up Helma here, make sure to give both these racers a follow. They are some of the best of our community. They made it to the round of 32 in the main tournament. They have proven that they are among the best. And give a follow to both myself, Lucy Greeth, and my co-commentator, Wolfling0370. And give a follow to Awala Koala, who's been keeping us honest in chat, keeping track of where items are for us. Makes our life just that much easier.
As you were saying that, we did see what that second chest of Agatara was. It's only a compass to Turtle Rock. And of course, make sure, and just to extend the shout out as well, make sure to also follow my co-commentator Lucian as well. Been good working with you, man.
Yes, you as well. I've had a lot of fun with this.
Alright. zelgadissan now on the front door of Helmosaur King.
And also one last, follow the SpeedGaming network channels. SpeedGaming, SpeedGaming 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we also have 4 language channels, English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and German. I guess English is foreign if you're not, don't speak it.
Yeah, that's a fair enough thing. Alright, Helmosaur King is now down. And they have a small key to Ice Palace. And with that, all 7 crystals have been collected for zelgadissan. And there's no game to play. We have the big key, we have 2 small keys. Once we go to GT, we're going straight up. But we haven't even mentioned where GT is. Well, if Castle Tower is over where Ganon's Tower is, Ganon's Tower is over where Agatara is. Off to Hyrule Castle we go.
While we're at Ganon's Tower, guess a number between 0 and 0 for a chance to win nothing.
Now, one last little nuance here to Inverted here, which is a bit of a funny change. Ganon crashes into the ceiling of Hyrule Castle, and that somehow leads to his boss fight in the pyramid. It's weird, I know.
Yeah, I've always wondered in non-inverted mode, like, I assume the pyramid's like really deep, and it's just kind of hard to show the scale on Super Nintendo. But you wonder how far, like, the pyramid theory is from Ganon itself. Hey,
Well,
go ahead, sorry.
Well, it's at least 2 floors, because there is a fall down point.
I was like the crystal animation in Inverted. Like, you've already got the door open. Like, we've got you. Like, nah, I've already got the door open. I'm good.
And Zelga not wasting any time, immediately starting the ascent. No silvers in sight, but we will get a hint about them.
I'm gonna, just because I am hellbent on validating my bad knowledge, I bet they're in Mire.
I'm gonna play the odds. It's a GT. I'm gonna say the lower part's a GT though, to be more specific.
Probably, but like I said, I am just determined to prove that Meyer was of some use.
I don't blame you, honestly. Well, we will see.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Zelga checks that the final check after Mordorm, just for the sake. It's like a 0 effort check. But we'll see. You know, we have no idea what's going through Zelga's head. Zelga might be feeling pressure.
I mean, their tournament life is on the line here, so I would feel a bit of pressure regardless. But doing very nice execution here. Definitely is pushing through this as if this is just a normal C for them. And honestly, that's a good thing. Staying calm, not making mistakes is pretty paramount in this in racing, honestly, especially in the last stretch.
Yeah, I had a seed race, my final Challenge Cup race. I was feeling so much pressure. I took a Ganon fall, so that's right. Like that, staying cool under pressure at the very end, very important.
Zelga checking these chests on the way in the hopes that there's just some silver arrows on the path.
Nice little poke dash there. Nope, not going for the post-mortem check.
Now goes Homerster King over on jmeasher's end, but still has to kill the Armos Knights. Meanwhile, Zelga is starting the Agadim 2 fight. Nice triple to start things off. And in good position, maybe can get another triple. Yes!
Oh, that is the dream right there.
Smooth as butter. Agadim 2 fight right there. Going into the Ganon fight now as jmeasher is heading over to Eastern Palace.
Alright, the final showdown with the big pig. She'll last about 30 seconds.
That's right, 6 slashes to the face here with the gold sword. Spins don't matter. Afterwards, it'll be just 12 spin attacks in phase 3, or phase 4. Phase 3, it's fixed damage, you just gotta hit him 4 times.
Hey, I said 30 seconds, I forgot we don't have silver, so maybe like 2 minutes tops.
Yeah, at a very extreme maximum. We do have the blue potion, so should be safe even if we don't get the torch glitch. And again, it says that the silver arrows are in the Dark World.
So where would they be?
Oh! Upper ledge, maybe?
I don't think we checked the bumper ledge.
Or Pyramid Fairy, that is also another option.
Pyramid Fairy, I would bet.
Our check has confirmed that Bombos was on Upper ledge, so yeah, it's probably Pyramid Fairy then. We checked pretty much everywhere else in terms of Dark Overworld.
Oh, rest in peace, Meyer. There it is, and the pig is roasted. Get your GGs in the chat for zelgadissan.
That's right, folks. Get your GGs in chat. zelgadissan will tie up this series and force a game 3 with an official race time of 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 7 seconds. An excellent comeback for Zelga.
Looks like jmeasher's gonna finish out the seed. But you're already halfway up the gauntlet. You might as well.
A very strong finish from Zelga. Now, of course, folks, Game 3 is still to be determined, as is the mode. We will not have a Verdict Sandy show twice in a row, though. So, there will be a different mode for the Game 3. And this will be do or die for both runners, so make sure to tune in if you are a fan of zelgadissan or jmeasher, as they are fighting for their tournament life at this point, both of them. One of them will move on to the round of 16, the other one will be eliminated.
Alright, we are joined in chat by zelgadissan. GG.
Hey, GG's, thank you.
This seed was just absolutely the treat to watch here. And Verdict Sandy is definitely not the easiest in terms of early game, but you made it look good. And you had so many good heads-up plays there that I didn't even think about half of them. And walk us through your thoughts as the seed progressed.
I don't know, man. This was stressful to me the whole way through. Like, I just kept finding nothing and nothing and nothing, and like, I think when I finally got to ice, I think I literally only had Eastern and Back of Thieves left. So, I mean, that mirror leading to everything with the hammer, I have felt terrible for about the last hour. So, I guess I may have had a more efficient route, but I'm surprised to have come away with the win here. To be honest, I was so stressed.
Yeah, it was definitely close. In fact, you both pretty much started Turtle Rock around the same time. So the routing after that really proved to be what decided the mace here.
Another big factor, you found your gold sword quite a bit earlier than jmeasher as well, so like, having that gold sword for Trinex, for Argus, just really gave you the advantage for boss kills.
Okay, yeah, that seems reasonable. I assume probably either like Catfish or Pod Sword probably was the other one.
Yeah, he didn't get either of those until very late. And in fact, we are now just seeing jmeasher beat up Aghanim them now.
Yeah, you were playing with Golden Sword while he was playing with Master, so that can be a huge difference for boss execution.
Yeah, that makes sense. There were some things I did feel pretty good about, even though it's a little awkward. Like, splitting Kakariko the way I did was kind of as a result of me forgetting to grab the Smith when I was first entering in the first place. So I was like, well, I'm just not going to do South Kakariko until I get the Smith. But, I mean, it led to efficient routing to do the top, and then, I don't know, I feel okay about this. I normally hate when you get Mitt's Dark World access in a normal seed, but I think I would almost rather have Mitt's access for Inverted, if that makes sense, and I'm not sure it totally does. I think the whole immediate access to, like, the Desert Corner and Kakariko, it's really nice.
Yeah. Now, of course, this race does mean that you have tied up the series here. One more game against jmeasher. You looking forward to it?
Absolutely. jmeasher is a great opponent. I'm enjoying the series. Like, obviously, game 1 didn't quite go my way. This one did, but I'm really happy to have a great opponent. It's a fun series. Yeah. Looking forward to game 3.
Now, do you have anything on the schedule yet, or are you waiting for see if game 3 is even happening to discuss it?
We haven't discussed it at all, so I imagine it'll be sometime soonish. I don't know. We got another week and a half, I guess.
Well, look forward to that, folks, whenever that may be. And there go. And jmeasher now in phase where Ganon does not have the torch glitch, though, so is trying to keep these torches lit.
Oh no!
Takes a Ganon fall there as Ganon snipes him away from the torch.
Oh, still fishing it out. What a trooper.
Yeah, definitely showing a never say die attitude here. Good sportsmanship as far as I'm concerned. So there was quite a bit of a difference with the Turtle Rock routing. You decided to do the middle on the way down, and that's one of the heads-up plays I was alluding to earlier with you just making sure you went to the bottom, and then you would have done the top floor once you finished off Turtle Rock, because you knew that would open up. That was one of the nice plays, whereas I believe jmeasher went from the bottom to the top instead, and then had a death warp happen, and he cleared the boss anyway.
Okay, yeah. I never know exactly how to route Turtle Rock in Inverted, but to me, the absolute worst part of Inverted is East Death Mountain. So, doing the way that I chose to do it, I think, was pretty beneficial to avoid like the multiple trips up through Paradox Cave. Felt like it was pretty much just what in my head seemed like the most efficient way to try and clear the dungeon out. Although I almost left my hammer behind, that would have been really bad.
Yeah, all things here though for inverted keys, it was honestly pretty straightforward, all things considered.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to get those silver arrows, though. Pretty much, they had to be a Pyramid Fairy at that point, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I had anything else left that would have been qualifying for Dark World.
Yeah, because Spike Cave is considered Dark Mountain, right?
Actually, it could have been Spike Cave. That would count as Dark World. Anything up on Death Mountain in the Dark World just still counts as generic Dark World.
Oh, jmeasher gets a triple on Ganon.
Nice, getting those triple spins here. Still does have the blue potion that both of you found over at Eastern Palace. jmeasher looking to wrap it up strong here. Only a couple more hits left. So, any final thoughts before we switch over to talking to jmeasher here? As Ganon now falls.
Not really. I'm just really happy to win. Obviously, GG's to jmeasher as he finishes here. But this is still a lot of fun, even though it was inverted, which you can probably tell from my file name. I always expect to lose inverted because I never play inverted. So, especially always happy to win whenever that's the case.
I just noticed that. Nice, I like that.
And there we go, jmeasher finishing with a time of 147.21.7 and has now joined us in the booth. GG's and a good, strong finish there. They're walking through the seat as you went through it there, jmeasher.
Thank you. Yeah, GG Zelga. Yeah, I this one was weird. I knew I was up. I knew I was up one game, so I kind of made maybe some off the wall decisions that I might not normally make. Just one of the things I've really found with these seeds is that trying to put off the mountain for as long as possible, just because how terrible it is to wrap everything there, is something I've been finding some success with. So I kind of just decided, I'm going to do as much as I can off the mountain before heading there, and it kind of worked out. Getting that mirror early really helped me basically completely clear out the mountain. And by the time I went up there, by the time I left there, I mean, I only had the pod big key to go mode. So I felt like I was in a really good position at that point. Just unfortunately, the boots being at hammer pegs and not really having much desire to head back to that area of the map at that point just kind of burned me and ended up basically last locationing it. So yeah, I mean, it's rando. Zelga got ice rod hunted in our first game, and I got boots hunted this game. So fair is fair, I suppose.
Yeah, you did pretty good, all things considered. You both were in Turtle Rocket roughly at the same time. The major difference there at that point is that Zelga had found all the other swords at that point, whereas you still were on Master Sword, I believe, at the time.
Yeah, and so I routed that a little differently. Instead of going straight for the boss, I kind of kept going just in the hopes get a hammer or the other sword, and I did end up getting those. So yeah, I was sure that our routes were going to be different because I was pretty confident that Zelga wasn't going to be dipping hammerless ice or hammerless swamp before going to the mountain.
Yeah, we were both kind of commenting like going for a hammerless ice was a very nice play.
I mean, it's I would call it non-standard, especially with as much of the mountain as I had open to me. But like I said, you're trying to make some non-meta plays that you think your opponent might not, and try to gain an advantage where you can. And I did have a game to play with, so trying some different stuff. And with inverted keys, you're going to have to be more thorough than not. Like, especially without that mirror, like the routing around the light world is so strange because normally you'd be it'd be a lot easier to just like save and quit or flute away to another spot to more efficiently route stuff, but you can't really do that. So yeah, it felt good right up until the point where I was looking for the pod big key.
Yeah, but at the same time, you still have one more game left, although now it is a situation where no matter what happens, one of you is being eliminated and the other one is going on. So the pressure is now on to see if you can pull this out and win this match. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing how you two fare off in the final match in your race, which of course is still to be determined.
Yeah, I don't know about this week. We haven't really even spoken about it at all, but I can only speak for myself when I say I don't know that I can handle another one of these races this week. And we've got the time, so it'll probably be next week at some point. And yeah, playing somebody like Zelga, I would have been absolutely floored if I could have beaten him in 2. I was fully expecting this to be at least a 3-game series, so should be fun, and we'll see what we get for our last race.
Well, no matter who wins that third game, I hope you both have a good time on that third game, and hopefully you both win. Folks, make sure to get your follows in for these two. They put on an excellent race for us tonight. And again, make sure to follow SpeedGaming and SpeedGaming 2 through 6 so you don't miss any racing action, not just a link to the Fast Randomizer. Speaking of which, we do have 2 more races for you tonight over on SpeedGaming 4. At 8:40, we will have Days Cloud versus Zero Rush happening, and that is a round of 64 match. And coming up here at 10 o'clock on SpeedGaming 5, we will have Wall Kicks versus Freddy. That is a round of 32 matchup. And of course, like we said earlier, make sure to also follow our foreign language restreams if you are a native speaker of Spanish, Portuguese, French, or German. We do offer those restreams in those languages for you. And of course, make sure to also follow ALTTP Randomizer and ALT Randomizer 2 through 4. I believe we're up to 6. I don't remember. But we also host some races there, or some extra races over there as well for our tournament. And of course, make sure to follow our tracker, Ewaldo Kowaldo, putting on and doing an excellent job of the tracking. And of course, my co-commentator, Lucen Grief, doing an excellent job with the voice. Good work commentating with you.
I had a lot of fun tonight.
I had a lot of fun as well. And you can also drop me a follow as well, folks. But for all of us here to Link to Fast Randomizer, I have been Wolfling0370. We shall see you all next time, and thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a great night.
GG's again.